Welcome to another edition of Courageous Conversations Live. I am your host, Pierre Quinn, and here on Courageous Conversations, we're leveraging the stories of leaders, of entrepreneurs, of creatives to help you live and lead with greater courage. And this, I am telling you, you want to sit up and pay attention and take notes on this conversation today. Joining me on this episode of Courageous Conversations is my LinkedIn coach, Rob YB Youngblood. YB, thanks for being my guest today.
Oh, peace and blessings, Pierre. There's no other place I'd rather be at this time, man. Thanks so much.
Listen, I'm just, man, over the moon about this conversation. So happy about it that I'm going to my social media profile right now and hitting the share button because I want other people to get just a sample of some of the things that we've been talking about as it relates to LinkedIn. So if you are joining us, I know on the LinkedIn platform, you're hanging out with us, hop in the comment section. We love to do shout outs here on Courageous Conversations Live. You have questions about the LinkedIn platform. And I know I got my Facebook friends. I know I got my YouTube subscribers watching as well. But specifically, if you have questions about the LinkedIn platform, drop those in the comment section. We'll answer as many as we can before we run out of time, because we got the man with us today. We got the man with us today, and he'll get you right in these LinkedIn streets, because as you see the title of our conversation, so many of us are losing on LinkedIn. So many of us are losing on LinkedIn in time, especially in today's age of what all the things that are going on. It's time for you to stop losing on LinkedIn. Okay, YB, set us up, man. Set us off. Give us that 30-second version, that Cliff Notes version, that LinkedIn profile version of who you are and what you do.
All right, peace and blessings. I'm Rob YB Youngblood, and I unlock the power of LinkedIn for entrepreneurs who want to enhance their visibility, credibility, and profitability. I'm a native of the Bronx, New York. Grew up in a single parent home, but father was murdered when I was 2, and that's the part of me that allows me to be a compassionate connector. And that's why I love being on LinkedIn, because it allows me to be myself, but also operate in a professional realm where folks are really about that business. And so, yeah, I unlock the power of LinkedIn for entrepreneurs, and I'm excited about being able to serve as a resource for individuals such as consultants, coaches, speakers like yourself who want to win on LinkedIn.
So take us back in the timeline. At what stage did you realize that LinkedIn was the place for you? Was the platform that you wanted to work on mastering, and not just mastering for yourself, but really putting other people in position to be successful? And yeah, when did you figure that out? Because for a lot of people, they looked at LinkedIn and they're like, nah, I'm Instagram, or I'm TikTok, or I'm Facebook. So why LinkedIn? When did it first make sense for you?
Oh man, it first made sense in 2012 when I was laid off from a nonprofit position. And as I was leaving that position, August of 2012, I realized that I needed to continue to operate in my gift. And I prayed to God that He would deposit within me something that would allow me to live for Him while utilizing my gifts and talents to be a blessing to others. And that's when He first gave me the name YB Connects. And then He showed me that it was something that I was already using, I could use to impact more people, and that was LinkedIn. And so, starting in 2012, I was literally beginning to monetize LinkedIn and supporting job seekers at that time, now mostly focusing on revenue generators. And that's where it picked up in 2012. But I had been using the platform since 2008. I was working for a nonprofit position. I was doing a lot of networking and using it as a CRM, or a client relationship management tool. But it wasn't until 2012 that I realized that I was onto something, and began to monetize the platform.
So can you give us a bit of the history? I know you do a deep dive on this stuff. Give us a little bit of the history, because some people even are hearing LinkedIn and they have jobs, or they're entrepreneurs, they're creatives, they lead in some capacity. Maybe they even have a product or resource, and they're thinking, LinkedIn, I'm not looking for a job. Why should I even spend any time on that platform if I'm not looking for a job?
Absolutely. And I actually teach this as a part of my MMD framework. The MMD stands for mindset, methodology, and discipline. And so the mindset that one must have if they're going to use this as a means of revenue generation is to see it as a marketing tool.
Mm.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's a marketing tool. It's an opportunity for you to create awareness, to increase your visibility, to enhance your credibility so that you could become profitable. And I think the challenge for most people, as you mentioned, is the fact that most people still see it as a platform for jobs. But if you think about it, if I am a job seeker, who am I marketing? I'm marketing myself. To whom? To an employer, which is no different than marketing yourself to a client who's going to pay you for your gift, your talent, and your time. And so there's no different than being a consultant. And so I think the first thing is just to have to be a mindset shift to seeing the platform, not just a place to get a job, but as a place to promote your value in the marketplace, and then align yourself with those who are looking for that value.
What are some of the ways in which LinkedIn has a marked advantage over maybe other social media platforms, other communication avenues out there? What makes it so distinctive and really so effective for the clients that you work with?
The very first thing is the fact that LinkedIn has its own culture, it has its own ecosystem, right? Because just the fact that when people think about LinkedIn, the first thing that comes to mind is that it's professional,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's built for professionals, it's built for business. And that's because that's how LinkedIn got started, right? So that's the first thing, is understanding that is a different type of person who really uses LinkedIn over an Instagram or over a Facebook. Okay. And then the second thing is just the way that we use it. People on LinkedIn love information.
Hmm.
Right. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to use the term that I use in our LinkedIn recommendation challenge or what type of people they are. But the fact is they love information. And so to be able to give it as a form of a blog or article in this manner right here as a live, to do it from the perspective of sharing content, creating company pages that are connected to your personal page and being able to promote not only your brand, but your organization's brand. There's so many ways that that people can leverage this to not only draw attention to them, but to their organization and to their network as well.
Well, when you look at the platform and how you're engaging it, let's start a bit of the teaching a little bit. We got
Yep.
Elijah Oliver checking in with us. He said, "LinkedIn locksmith, I'm tuned in." Can you give us when you're just on the platform? Can you give us some of these common mistakes that we hear people that we watch people make? Like you log in, you see a profile, and you're like, oh man, or something that they do, and you're like, oh man, they just need a little bit of coaching, a little bit of tweaking, and they can really maximize what they're doing. What are some of the common mistakes that you find people making?
So here's how I know that someone is a good fit for me. When I go on their profile and I see that they have a blanket about section, right? It's more of a bio speak. Or number two, they have no picture in their banner, right? So that's a number two mistake that I see. The number three is when I go to their experience and I notice that their experience is not tied to a company page, right? Especially if they own their own business, right?
Hmm.
The challenge with that is if I want to learn more about what you do in your organization and I click on your experience, it's going to take me to a list of other individuals who have those keywords in their profile. And so now what happens is you've removed me from your presence and you've given my eyeballs and my attention to your competitor. And
Mm.
so one of the things that I strive to teach my clients is how to connect their personal profile to a company page so that they can keep their prospects' attention. The fourth thing that I see that people do incorrectly is how they communicate with people on the platform.
Mm.
Everybody seems like they are Roger Clemens out here, right? Everybody's pitching, you know, everybody's
Yeah.
pitching, and they're not focusing on relationship first, business second. People do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And if you are just focusing on putting your product or service first, you're not giving any regard to the individual that you're pitching to. And so just the way that people abuse the the inbox, or how they don't even use it to
Mm.
check the messages that are coming in. So those are some major mistakes that I see that people are doing on LinkedIn that's causing them to lose on LinkedIn.
So you talk about how you helped your clients increase their profitability on LinkedIn. Like, is that really possible? Because that sounds, people are listening to us now and they're like, okay, that's good marketing speech. You know, why
Mhm,
be a coaching program, or are you selling a course? Okay.
mhm,
Every coach says that they'll help you increase your revenue, help you generate sales, yada, yada, yada. Is it
mhm.
true that the clients, or give us the evidence that the clients that you're working with are actually increasing their revenue as a result of working with you and maximizing the platform?
No question. I think the very first thing where profitability begins is in the mind. That's why we talk about the MMD framework, right? Is the first thing you have to do is see yourself as an asset, okay, and not a liability. And when you see yourself as an asset, you realize that you have the ability to solve a particular problem that people have. Once
Mhm.
you have that understanding, then the key is to put yourself in a position to find the people who have that problem so you can solve that problem, right? Now, once you're able to find those people, you have to have something that you can offer them that
Mm.
they can exchange their coins for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you a perfect example. We launched the LinkedIn recommendation challenge in November. I had participants like yourself to come on board and be a part of that. Within the first cohort, as a result of becoming active on LinkedIn, one of the participants, you know her very well, right? She was able to land a $30,000 client because she was able to take her gift and solve that person's particular problem in
Mhm.
exchange for $30,000. Okay, so when we talk about profitability, it's about identifying the gift that you have, the problem that you solve, and the people who have those problems in exchange for your particular service that a person will compensate you on. Even things that you and I have talked about, you know, the fact that you have increased your visibility has allowed you to attract individuals that love the vibe, they love the energy, they see you getting results, they want to cut the check. And now folks are able to generate revenue and become more profitable on LinkedIn.
As a matter of fact, that's really how Courageous Conversations Live started. And I know we broadcast on Facebook and YouTube, but it started as a LinkedIn Live. It waited for me personally to increase my engagement on LinkedIn, and that came as a result of YB's coaching, saying you got to be more active on the platform, choose the way that you're going to do it, and I chose to do it by going live. So
Mhm.
YB, man. So we're listening to this. We got Antonio Lennon, the leadership coach, checking in with us. He said, let's go YB. You know, on these platforms, in these social circles, and we have these conversations, a lot of people these days are big on receipts. And I know you
Mhm.
mentioned the LinkedIn recommendation challenge, and you mentioned a person who worked with you who landed a 30K client. I know, you know, personally, from being in the cohort, I landed a 10K client as a result of being more active on LinkedIn. But that's
Mhm.
just us, you know. That's just, you know, these entrepreneurs who are building our businesses and, you know, haven't achieved certain levels, right? Give us the receipts, YB. Like, maybe some household names,
Mhm.
some more notable individuals who you've worked with, and their activity on LinkedIn has even generated even larger outcomes as a result of working with you.
No question. I think the biggest name that I've worked with so far would have to be Eric Thomas, ET, the hip hop preacher. You know, I was a part of his community from 2016 to most recently,
Mhm.
and he has a community called Breathe University. And it wasn't until I got into Breathe University that my level of confidence increased to the point where I was able to attract the name, the LinkedIn locksmith, because before then I was just YB the connector.
Mhm.
So working with him, I was able to, level up his LinkedIn presence, because prior to me and him connecting, he had no presence on LinkedIn. So from there, I was able to attract a Super Bowl champion. Some of you may know Gary Brackett, who used to play for the Indianapolis Colts. I've worked with Kendall Ficklin, David Shands, several other speakers, organizations. I've had colleges reach out to me as a result of my activity on LinkedIn, to bring me in to work with their student athletes. And so, the confidence from being a part of Breathe University and being able to work with ET, and then being able to level up to not only take his profile from where it was to several 100,000, followers. And obviously a lot of that has to do with his power. But when I looked at where his profile was, which was literally nil, I mean, it was like no activity at all, to where it is now. If you go to Eric D. Thomas on LinkedIn and you see how it's just blowing up with content, thanks to, shout out to Nikki Saunders, who is the guru behind his social media empire, and all of the things that's going on there. All of that kicked off as a result of the work that I put in working with him and his organization.
I know, YB, you talk about, I mean, depending on the list that you look at, ET is top or always listed as one of the top motivational speakers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
From that experience now, when you engage with potential clients who say they're the best at what they do, or they're really confident in their craft, but they have a difficult time listening to coaching as it relates to learning a different skill. How do
Mm-hmm.
how do you navigate that dynamic? They really want to work with you. They see the receipts. They go to ybconnects.com. They see the messages. They send you a response, and you begin to engage in them. And you notice they're good at their craft, but when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to this particular skill, they need to be coachable. And how do you
Mm-hmm.
work them through that particular paradigm?
It's not really a matter of me working with them. When the student is ready, the coach will appear.
Mm.
And so it's not on the coach to convince the player of the value that the coach brings to the table. Yes, it is my responsibility to introduce them to who I am and what I've done, but a lot of it has to do with the players that I've coached and the people that I've had results. You know what I mean? So I think from there, if and then at the end of the day, it's a vibe. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's a feeling. I look at our situation, Pierre. You came to me as a result of a referral. Shout out to Quinn Conyers. You know what I'm saying? She knew the value of the work that I did and working with her. She's another dynamic receipt there, that someone that I've helped. And as a result of that introduction, you and I were able to work together. I worked on your profile, and you and I worked together, and you began to level up. And now your impact and your outreach speaks for itself. And I'm gonna be real, it has less to do with me than it does with you being willing to take just a morsel of information, just a minor tweak, and then going to the next level. And that's how you have a dynamic coach and player relationship. So a lot of it has to be with, if the person is willing to learn from someone who knows just a little bit more than they do, and they
Mhm.
see the results that other people are getting, then it's a no-brainer. But it has to be a good fit, and sometimes it's not. And I will be real, there's a whole lot of other LinkedIn experts or LinkedIn well, they're not other LinkedIn locksmiths out there. If you see somebody saying LinkedIn locksmith, we're gonna have to have a talk. But there's other LinkedIn gurus out there
Yeah.
that that will be a good fit for their temperament. You feel what I'm saying? And I have no problem facilitating an introduction to those people, because there's a certain type of person that I love to work with, and I don't work with everybody.
Yeah, we got Ryan Bell, Ryan Anthony Bell hanging out with us. He is a Courageous Conversations alum. He's also been part of the recommendation challenge as well, saying the LinkedIn GOAT. We got a question. Connie wants to know, are you related to Leon? I don't know who
You know, it's
Leon.
funny. If I had $1, Connie, for everybody who asked me if I was related to somebody with the last name Youngblood, I'd be a multi-millionaire. I'll tell you this: the first person that people will ask me if I'm related to is a pastor out of Brooklyn, New York, by the name of Johnny Ray Youngblood. And Johnny Ray's a dynamic preacher, has several sons with the last name Youngblood, who, as a result of connected with some other people, some folks they're like, hey, do you know this brother such and such Youngblood? I'm like, nah, we not related in blood, but we probably related in spirit. And the beautiful thing about my last name is the fact that it is very, very common in the South, like Alabama,
Mhm.
Mississippi. There's a ton of Youngbloods, and it's so common. It's kind of like Johnson
Mm.
or Anderson. You feel what I'm saying? And so I always grew up thinking I was the last of the Mohicans. When in actuality, when you Google the name Youngblood, there's a bunch of us, and there's a bunch of Robert Youngbloods as well. That's why I had to make sure I differentiate myself with the YB. So, Connie, unfortunately, I'm not related to that gentleman that you mentioned.
You mentioned earlier a referral, and that's how we got connected. And then you said, depending on who makes an inquiry, you might see it best to refer them to another LinkedIn coach. Can you talk a little bit
Hmm.
before we run out of time in this conversation about the power of referrals and how
Yeah,
LinkedIn, specializes in being able to establish connections and referrals for people?
yeah, no question. First of all, you have to be good at what you do to earn a referral. So many organizations and individuals, they ask for referrals, but they haven't earned them.
Hmm.
And so the way that you earn the referral is, number one, you have to be good at what you do. And it's not good in terms of you telling people that you're good. It's the market telling people that you're good or that you're great. So that's the first thing. You got to be good. You got to be great at what you do. And then the
Hmm.
second thing is, once you've made an impact on someone, it's okay to let them know that you would love to work with individuals that could benefit from the work that you do, or ask, who would you recommend? Right?
Hmm.
Who would you recommend? Now, the beauty of the relationship that you and I has established was that, Quinn knew the value. And as a result of a conversation she had with you, she thought highly of me enough to say, let me facilitate the introduction. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, hey, Quinn, can you give me a referral? No, I'm not bugging anybody on that. So I think
Hmm.
the first thing is making sure you're good at what you do, that you showcase your impact on LinkedIn. And then here's the key, and this is why the recommendation challenge is so important, that you have people speak about the impact that you've made upon them.
Hmm.
And I love LinkedIn because you have the ability to collect that through the recommendations that are on your LinkedIn profile.
Man, YB, man, a lot of insight you've been sharing with us. A great perspective, and I know some people who have perked up. They're thinking, "Wait, all the things that he's saying," and they pulled up their LinkedIn profile really quickly, and they're like, "Okay, I'm losing, and I need to be winning." So, as we come to the end of our conversation, who are the individuals who should click on your profile, who should send you a connection request, who should reach out to you, or even if they're not on LinkedIn yet and they're
Mhm.
interested in learning more about the platform and leveling up regards to that, they should go to ybconnects.com. Who are the types of individuals you're looking to partner with?
Yeah. So if you have these four titles in your name, or when you share what you do: consultant, coach, speaker, trainer. Okay. All four of those obviously fall under some level of revenue generation, and they want to identify their next client. They want to enhance their visibility. They want to promote their impact. So individuals that have that in their title are people who I love to work with, because number one, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker. I can best relate based on my personal experience of how LinkedIn has impacted me, and I can share that with them. So if they have that in their title, they would be ideal people that I would love to work with. Now, here's another caveat. They're great at what they do, but they struggle when it comes to using LinkedIn and networking through LinkedIn. So it's those two caveats. They have those titles, but they struggle when it comes to using LinkedIn, because I can literally help and unlock that struggle so that they can become productive and profitable on LinkedIn.
We got good friend Oliver Marcel who's hopping in the comment section on LinkedIn Live right now. He says, I need to get in on the next recommendation challenge. We gotta drop some insight on that. YB, folks are asking. You mentioned the LinkedIn recommendation challenge a couple of times, and if you could give us, some insight on that program and how we can get connected to that.
Absolutely. So the next cohort is actually this cohort number 4, which kicks off this Sunday. We operate on Sundays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. So there's still a few slots left to register. You'll see that information on LinkedIn. If you come and you follow me, I'll be happy to give you that information. Or you can, connect with Pierre. He'll give you all the details. He's been killing the game on there, but this is the next cohort. We go for about 30 days. So we'll go from March the 14th to April the 11th. And we have some power pack individuals that are part of this cohort that have been in past cohorts. I bring in guest speakers, and I got a little secret. I won't tell you who it is, but I've already secured my wrap-up speaker for cohort number 4. And you actually know him very well. And so I won't give the goods too early, but it would be incumbent upon individuals to come into cohort number 4 so they can not only experience the relationship and the information and the level up, but so they can hear this brother. It is a brother. Hear this brother share his insight and expertise with the group as we wrap up on April the 11th. So don't wait until April 11th, though.
No.
Get in today, because the registration will actually close. We locked up 12 midnight on Sunday morning. So we'd love to have you. And plus we lose an hour too.
That's
So
right.
don't lose out on this opportunity to get in on cohort number 4, because the last 3 cohorts have been fire, and we just got the best that is yet to come. So definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I would say one last thing is to make sure that anytime you connect with anyone, this is for everyone that's listening, make sure you send a personalized note with every invitation that you send out. Every connection request, send a personalized note. And when you connect with me, make sure you let me know that you heard me here on Courageous Conversations Live with Pierre Quinn. And I'll be more than happy to connect with you and strengthen our relationship.
Man, YB, you took it. I was about to say it, but you took it, man. You set it up. You closed it off really, really well. I'm telling you, you want to get on this LinkedIn recommendation challenge, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of the challenge. I'm saying it because I have personally benefited. My network has grown, visibility has increased, profitability has shown enough increased as a result of the LinkedIn recommendation challenge and the one-on-one personal coaching with YB. So many of us are losing. We're losing on LinkedIn. We're trying to grow as entrepreneurs, as leaders, or even we're trying to build greater brand awareness for the organization, for the company that we work for. And LinkedIn is one of the best places to do that. So you need to get in contact with YB and tell him I sent you. Tell him I sent you in his direction. YB, thanks so much, man. I know people are going to reach out to you. I know it's going to be some great conversations. I know people are going to sign up for appointments with you, and I know you're going to help them and their organization tremendously. So I thank you in advance for all the work that you have been doing and that you will be doing with them. And I thank you so much for being my guest today.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. And you are the manifestation of the gift that God has given me and the prayer that I prayed on August 15th, 2012. that I would continue to use that gift to empower, inspire, and impact people. So I want to thank you, and God is in control. So we give him all the praise, honor, and glory, man. So appreciate you, Doc. Be encouraged, man. Thank you.
Listen, man, you took a line that I was going to say as it relates to the connection. So I'm going to take a line from you. YB says this all the time when we're in conversations, y'all. And I want you to use this as encouragement for the rest of your day or whenever you're watching this. Don't just keep the faith. You got to share the faith. So until next time.